the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Respected grade 12 students all over the Sultanate of Oman, and welcome to a new episode of Life Lesson program. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and as usual, we will start with our objective. We are in theme 4, unit 2, under the title of NGOs. Okay, let's start with the objectives of today's lesson. The first objective is to scan a text and answer some questions. So you are going to read a text and you are looking for specific information. The second objective is to practice using used to in sentences, in questions, and in negative sentences. First, I'd like to ask you this question. What do we mean by NGOs? Can you guess the meaning from the picture? Okay, let's watch this video together, and after this video, I want you to tell me the meaning of NGOs. Okay, so as you saw in the video, NGO means, or it stands for non-governmental organization, and these organizations are normally established by people, not by governments, and they can be for saving trees, for example, or to take care of the environment in general, or helping people, or for medical aid, or for education. They can be local and they can be international. Let's see the text and learn more about NGOs. So as I said, it stands for non-governmental organization, and this S is just for the plural. We have 3 NGOs here in the book. The first one is called Dar al-Ata, and we have another one here. It's concerned about children's disabilities, and then we have the Environmental Society. Now look at the 2 questions in task number 1 in your course book. What does the first question say? Look at the logos of these Omani NGOs. What kind of work do these NGOs do? And the second question is, do you think that NGOs are important, and why? If you don't know the answers from the pictures, you can go to the text and read the text to find the answers. Text number or task number 2, you have a text about Dar al-Ata and the second organization, which is for children with disabilities, and the third one is the Environmental Society Oman. So have a minute, scan these 3 texts and tell me what does each organization do, and tell me what do you think, is it important or not? Have a minute. Okay, let's check each one together. So the first one is Dar al-Ata. This organization helps poor people in Oman. It runs a range of programs, including family welfare, education care, empowerment, and Islamic values. And there is an example of the work that this organization does. During Ramadan, it distributes iftar packets. The second one, which is called Association of Early Intervention for Children with Disabilities. Okay, this organization provides a specialist daycare center for disabled children in Oman. And the third one is called Environment Society of Oman, and it works to protect and raise awarenesses about the environment in Oman, especially monitors and protects several endangered species, like, for example, the turtle. Okay, now we are going to discuss something else, the second objective of our today's lesson, which is how to use used to in sentences and in questions. And we are going to go back to the text again to find this expression in these texts. Look at the first example, look at the first context here. I used to live in Suhar, but now I live in Muscat. So, what does this mean? This condition or this situation means that it refers to a past habit or condition that has stopped or changed. So it means that in the past I used to live in Suhar, but nowadays I'm living in Muscat. So if you want to tell about something happened in the past, but you stopped doing it, you are not doing it anymore, or this situation doesn't exist anymore today, you are going to use used to. Look at the structure of the sentence. We have the subject, which is I, plus used to, plus, what do we call this structure? We call it infinitive. So we have used to plus infinitive. What do we mean by infinitive? Infinitive means to plus the verb. What kind of verb? It is the base form. To live, or to read, to play. As you see, the verb is base form. You shouldn't add anything in this verb. No D or ED, no S or any other complement like ing. So the verb should be base form, which is called infinitive. So the sentence will be, I used to live in Sohar. The structure is subject plus used to plus infinitive. And what do we mean by infinitive? It means to plus the verb. What kind of verb? It is base form. No ed, no s, no ing, nothing at all. Pure verb. To live, to read, to play. These are called infinitive. So the first condition when to use used to, if you want to express a situation or a condition that happened in the past but it doesn't exist anymore. So I used to live in Sohar, which means this is in the past, but now I live in Muscat. The second condition here, let's see the context first. I used to play football, but now I play tennis. So I, which is the subject, plus used to, plus the infinitive, and then the complement of the sentence. So the same structure. But what is the second condition of using used to? If you are expressing a clause in the present simple tense to a sentence with used to plus infinitive shows a contrast between past and present. So in this sentence, I am showing a contrast between past and present. Something I used to do it in the past, but now I used to do something else. Or now I'm doing something else. For example, I used to play football, but now I am expressing a present condition. But now I play tennis. So here we can see the comparison. If I say I used to play football, this happened in the past, but now I play tennis. And you see the verb, it's present tense. So this is the second condition of using used to. Let's move to the next one. Now here, if you want to use used to with the negative sentence, for example, Oman didn't used to have many schools or hospitals. So you want to say that in the past, Oman didn't used to have many schools or hospitals. Have you noticed any changes here in this sentence? Yes. Why? Because I've got didn't here. And whenever I've got didn't or did, for example, in the sentence, what kind of verb should I put or should I use? I cannot use used. I need to use used to. So I cannot say Oman didn't used to. This is wrong. The correct answer is Oman didn't use to. Why I'm not using the D here? Because I've got didn't in the sentence. So Oman didn't use to have many schools or hospitals. So I am using again used to with the negative sentence. But be careful, if you are using didn't, you need to cross the D, so it will be used to. The second condition in the negative sentence, I can also use the negative sentence by using never. For example, we never used to watch TV. But here, because I've got no didn't, I kept it the same. So we never used to watch. So I'm using, or I put the D where it is. So we never used to watch TV. But in the first sentence, I removed it because I have got didn't in the sentence. And the structure will be the subject, which is Oman, plus didn't, plus use to, and then the complement of the sentence. This if I'm using didn't. If I'm using never, the structure will be the subject plus never plus used to, and then the complement of the sentence. So we are using used to if we want to express a condition that happened in the past, or if I want to compare between two conditions, one happened in the past and the other is in the present, or if I want to use it in a negative sentence, and we have two ways to use it in the negative sentence. Either to use it with didn't, but be careful, with didn't you need to omit the D. So Oman didn't use to. Never say Oman didn't used. It's wrong. And the second case, we use it with never. So we never used to watch TV, for example. I hope it's clear. So now we can move to the questions. How can we use used to in the questions? The first one with the WH question. What used to be here? For example, you are standing in the road with your parents and you are asking them, what used to be here? You remember that there is a building here, but now it's not exist. So the structure will be the WH question plus used to, and then the complement of the sentence or the infinitive. For example, who used to live here? As you see, I cannot say who used to lived here. Who used to live here? So I need infinitive. Where plus did you use to go? For example, where did you use to go in your summer holiday? You are asking your friend. Again, have you noticed any change here? Yes. What is it? I have got no D in the verb here, in use. So who used to live here? I used used. But here, where did you use to go? Because of did, I cannot put D here. It's wrong. So the right answer is, where did you use to go? You cannot say, where did you used to go? Again, because I have did in the question. The same structure here. Did you use to like chocolate when you were young? Because of did here, I cannot say, did you used to like chocolate? It's wrong. Did you use to like chocolate? And the structure will be did plus you plus use plus the infinitive, which is to plus the base form. So use to plus the infinitive. Look at the grammar recall in your book. Now we have some sentences here with different conditions. Some of them are questions, some of them are negative sentences, some of them are affirmative, and others are comparison between past and present. So I want you to do the matching. Tell me, this sentence is related to which type or which condition? Why I am using this sentence structure like this? Because it is negative or question or affirmative or what? Let's do the first one as an example together. So the negative one here goes with sentence number 4. There didn't used to be as much traffic in Muscat. Now I'll give you a minute. Try to find the rest of the matching. Okay, so which one of these is questioned with did? It is number 6. Did you use to live in Nizwa? And as you see, because of did here, I'm not using D. Did you use? I cannot say did you used. What about the affirmative? Affirmative means it's the opposite of the negative. So it matches with sentence 1. Before 1970, there only used to be 3 formal schools in Oman. What about the question with the WH? It is here, number 5. Who used to live here? You see the structure? WH question plus used to plus the infinitive to live here. And the negative one is I never used to eat spicy food. And the last one, the comparison between past and present. I used to dislike learning English, but now I really enjoy it. Now again, go back to the text and try to find me the structure used to. Where can you find it? In the first paragraph, in the second paragraph, and in the third paragraph. Quickly scan it and underline the structure. Okay, so here is the first one. We used to set up tents. And the second one here, there used to be just 15 children. Used to. And the third one, worldwide, used be much higher. So these are the 3 usage in the 3 text in your course book. Now you can do this with your friend at school or online, because the top tip in today's lesson is to extend your answers. If you are asked about something, you need to extend the answer. For example, I used to live in Muscat. You can complete it and extend it, but now I live in, let's say, Nizwa. So you can do this with your partner at school or online, because it is a speaking task. Now we will move to your workbook. Look at task number 1. We have a listening task. Listen to Yunus talking about how life in Oman was different when he was young. Decide if the following statements are true or false. Write the letters T or F in the box beside each statement. The first one is Eunice's family used to live in a small mountain village. What do you think? Is it true or false? You need to predict the answer. Try to guess. This will help you to get the answer quickly when you listen or when you hear the text. And you need also to underline the key words in the question. So, do they live in a small mountain village? We need to listen for that. Number 2. There was no school in Eunice's village. What do you think? There was no school? Eunice and his brother used to watch TV after school. What do you think? Do they use to watch TV after school? Eunice used to go fishing with his father at the weekend. What do you think? Is that true or false? Life used to be simpler when Eunice was young. What do you think? Was life simpler? Are you ready? Okay, now let's hear the text together.
Theme 4. Listening 4.2.1.
Life used to be very different when I was young. My family used to live in a small village near the coast. These days, the village has a school, but when I was young, there didn't used to be a school. So my brother and I used to travel 30 minutes to the nearest school. I was a good student, and I used to love studying science. My brother and I never used to watch TV or play computer games after school. Instead, we used to meet our friends from the village and play football until it got dark. At the weekend, my father used to take us fishing at the local beach. We used to take home the fish we caught, and our mother used to cook them for dinner. Things used to be much simpler when I was young. Sometimes I miss those days.
Okay. Did you catch the answers? Let's check them together. So the first one is false because
Theme
Eunice's
4.
family
Listening 4.
used to live near the coast. The second
Theme
one
4. Listening 4.2.1.
okay. The second answer is there was no school in Eunice village. Yes, it is true. And the next one is Eunice and his brother used to watch TV after school. He said no. So it is false because they never used to watch TV. Then we have Eunice used to go fishing with his father. Yes. And the last one, yes, it was true because he said life was much simpler, and he said that I miss those days. Okay. Now look at the next task in your workbook. Task number 2. After discussing the usage of used to and used to, by now I guess you can circle the correct option from these sentences. Let's see the first one together. We have used to or used to. You need to choose the best answer. Go to school in Salala when I was young. What do you think? What is the correct answer? It talks about something happened in the past. So it is used to. I used to go to school in Salala. I'll give you 30 seconds. Quickly try to find the rest of the answers. Okay, let's try to do the task together. So my brother and I used to. Again, he is expressing something happened in the past. My brother and I used to walk. Do you see the structure? The subject is my brother and I, then used to, then we have never, then we have the infinitive. So used to walk to school together. Because my family didn't use to. As I said, we cannot say didn't used to. This is wrong. Why? Because I have didn't here. When I have didn't here, I cannot say didn't used to. So the right answer is because my family didn't use to with no D. Then we have my school used to be quite small, but now it is much bigger. Now, what is his favorite subject? He said maths used to be my favorite subject because he is talking about something in the past. I cannot say use. So maths used to be my favorite subject. And we never used to study English. So this is the negative sentence. I didn't use to enjoy reading books. Again, because I have didn't here, I chose use to. I didn't use to. I cannot say used because I've got didn't here. So I didn't use to enjoy reading books when I was at school, but now I really love to read. Why I'm choosing love? Because I'm expressing the current situation. I'm talking about something right now, not in the past. So, but now, you see now, that's why I chose the present tense. So now I really love to read. I hope it's clear. Now we can move to the next task. We start with the easier one, which is just circle the correct answer. Now we will move to a bit difficult one, but it's not difficult, but just it is more advanced than the first one. Because now here I want you to write the sentence in the correct order. Let's see the first scattered word here, or scattered words in the first sentence. We have ago, be, Oman, different, 45, very, 2 years, and used. How can we gather these scattered words in the correct order to write a meaningful sentence? Let's see the first one as an example. So Oman used to be very different 45 years ago. We started by subject, which is Oman, plus used to be very different 45 years ago. I'll give you a minute. Try to work out the rest of the sentence. Put them in the correct order, rewrite them again, and then we will check them together. Okay, I hope that you have finished. Let's check the answers together. So the first one will be, or the second one will be, did there used to be less traffic in the past? So I'm starting the question with did. Did there used to be less traffic in the past? The second one or the third one, it is a negative sentence. So how can we form the negative? There didn't used to be specialist care for disabled children in Oman. Have you noticed any changes between the first one and the second one and the third one? Yes. So the first one we have Oman used. I've got the D. But because the second one I have got did, so I said did there use with no D. Did there use. And the third one again the same. There didn't use. You shouldn't write the D because we have didn't here. So there didn't use to be specialist care for disabled children in Oman. Number 4. This is a question again with did, with WH question, sorry. But again, we have did in the question. So where did you use to live? I didn't say used. Why? Because I've got did in the question. And the last one is there never used to be a road from Muscat to Salalah. I've got negative using never, not did, so I kept the D here. But whenever I've got did or didn't, you need to remove the D. So where did you use to live? I cannot say where did you used to live because of did. But here, because I've got never, I kept the D. There never used to be a road from Muscat to Salalah. Okay, we have got another task in your workbook. It is preview and read the text, then follow the example and write some sentences. This text is talking about the Arabian Peninsula, and you are given the first sentence as an example. The Arabian Peninsula used to be very different from now. It is today. So I want you, from how it is today, not now. Now I want you to rewrite some sentences here using the information from the text, like this example. Let's do it together. There used to be much more rain in the Arabian Peninsula, but now we don't have lots of rain. So this is a good sentence. Then we have rivers used to flow all year around, not just during the rainy season. I am using this structure used to with comparison here between the past and now. The peninsula used to be much greener. I am describing a situation in the past, talking about the peninsula. It was much greener. So the structure is the subject, which is the peninsula, plus used to, plus the complement of the sentence. Then we have grasslands and forests used to grow. And the last one, there used to be a much wider range of wildlife. This is according to the workbook task, and here we can get another sentence. There used to be ostrich, because now we don't have much ostrich. Now you have other extra activity in your book in page 77 in the end of your workbook. Look at this task. Use the phrases below to write the sentences about the past using used to plus the infinitive. And you are given the first one as an example. Travel everywhere by foot. In the past, people used to travel everywhere by foot. So, and you are given here the sentence, but without used to and without the infinitive. How can we structure the sentence? We can say, in the past, people didn't used to have laptop computers. The second one, we have communicate by letters. So how can we form this sentence in the past and talk about the past using used to? We can say, in the past, people used to communicate by letters. Then we have never eat fast food. How can we talk about the past? And we said that people in the past never eat fast food. We can say, in the past, people never used to eat fast food. Then we have not shop in big shopping malls. So the sentence will be, in the past, people didn't use to shop in big shopping malls. As you see again, people didn't. Because I've got didn't, I wrote use, not used. Didn't use. Okay. We have one more task. You have got some mistakes in these sentences. I want you to correct these mistakes in the sentences. For example, the first one, the touch screen is not helping today. Okay, so the first one is, The sentence said, sorry, there used to be more turtles in the word. So we correct the sentence saying there used to be more turtles in the word. So instead of use, I've changed it to used to. Okay, have a minute and try to complete the rest. Try to find the mistakes, then we will check them together. Okay, let's try to correct the sentences together. The second sentence said, there didn't used to be shopping malls in Oman. So the correction is we cannot say there didn't used. We say there didn't use. Why? Because I've got didn't here in the sentence. So there didn't used to be shopping malls in Oman. Then we have Dar al-Ata used setting up tents during Ramadan in Muscat. So Dar al-Ata used, again, look at the structure here. We cannot say sitting up. It's better to say Dar al-Ata used to set up, because we said that used to plus the infinitive. Infinitive means to plus the verb set up, for example, without ing, without ed, without s. This is the infinitive. Then we have Nasib never used to watch in TV. So the correction is Nasib never used to watch TV. No need to use the N. And the last one here, we used to live in a small village, but now we used to live in Muscat. So this is the sentence. The correct sentence is we used to live in a small village, but now we live in Muscat. Because here I've got now. So if I'm talking about now, I don't need to use used to, because I'm using used to talk about a condition in the past. Because I've got now, I've changed used to we live in Muscat. So I think by now we have reached the end of our lesson. I hope that you have enjoyed it. We talked about the NGOs, and we said it stands for non-governmental organization. These NGOs are established or founded by individuals, not the government, and they are non-profits. And we also managed to practice using used to in questions, in negative, and in sentences. Till we meet again, please stay safe and sound, and I wish you all the best. Good luck.